Self-publishing a book can cost anywhere from $0 to as much as you want to spend. Here's a breakdown of the various self-publishing costs and their average budgets with a few different price points. Every draft has to go somewhere, and most of us are using some kind of writing program these days. Google Docs is a tried and true favorite of many writers, and though it is completely free to use, it does have pretty limited capabilities as far as word processing goes. If you want to go the monthly subscription route, there are quite a few very popular options, including Ulysses, which is about $6 a month, Dabble, which runs from $7 to $30 a month, and Campfire, which can be $16+ a month. Lastly, there are the one-time purchase writing softwares that you can own for life. These include Scrivener, which is about $60, and Atticus, which is about $120. Taking those subscription models into consideration, if you take about 1 year to write a book, you're going to come out at about $100 average. Personally, I use Scrivener. I purchased it after my second or third book, so I've been using it for a while, and it's a good option for me. I like to just have the software and own it for life and not do subscriptions. The cost for professional editing can vary significantly depending on many different factors, including your book's genre, word count, and the type of editor that you choose. But just to give some kind of average here, if you're going for an 80,000 word novel, you could hire a very experienced editor for as much as $2,500 for developmental edits, $1,900 for line edit or copy edits, and $1,300 for proofreading. Now, with a more average priced editor, you could get the same services for between $1,200 and $1,600 for a developmental edit, and then $400 to $800 for a line or copy edit, and $200 to $300 for professional proofreading. Of course, keep in mind that a lot of indie authors choose not to do professional developmental editing and instead rely on critique partners and beta readers to find plot and story and structure issues. Cover design is next, and it is one of my favorites. You can go the DIY route for pretty cheap. We're talking $10 to $30 for your Mid-Journey subscription, and then $20 a month for a Photoshop subscription, or you can use a free program like GIMP or Krita. And then, of course, using online YouTube video tutorials and guides for doing the actual Photoshopping. Of course, if you don't want to use AI, you can always go to reputable stock photography sites and get your images for your cover that way, but you will incur more costs usually to get usage for commercial rights. Pre-made book covers are another good budget option. So a lot of really reputable cover designers will have a kind of catalog of pre-made covers that you can purchase from them. And these will run usually around $100. But for this price, you're only getting the ebook cover, and there will be extra costs incurred for doing a hardcover or paperback wrap. To have a cover designer create a custom cover for you using stock photography of your choice, this will usually run you somewhere between $200 and $400 for just the ebook, and then another $50 to $150 to get a paperback or hardcover wrap. Of course, there are more expensive cover designers out there, but that's just kind of an average. And lastly, usually the most expensive option is getting a custom illustration made, and you will still need to do cover design fees on top of this. Personally, I have not commissioned any art for a cover before, but I have seen a lot of different price ranges depending on the skill and availability of different cover designers. So you could get something for, looks like about under $300 to over $2,000. It really just depends on what kind of illustrator you decide to go with. I would say the average indie can expect to pay between $200 and $400 for their book covers, depending on what formats you go with. I've done the last couple of my book covers myself, which has been super fun, but no matter what you choose, getting a cover for your book is really exciting. Formatting is the next step to take your finished manuscript and turn it into a book of different formats, such as ebook, hardcover, and paperback. To get an ebook professionally formatted can cost somewhere between $50 and $100 on average, and for a paperback or hardcover, you can expect to pay $200 to $300 per format. There's lots of options to do your own book formatting depending on what you want to pay. You can do it for free using Draft to Digital or Kindle Create, or you can do something that requires a monthly subscription. So you could do, say, Microsoft Word, for example, to format your paperbacks and hardcovers. Or you can do one-time cost softwares such as Vellum and Atticus. These cost $150 and $250 each. Those do cost a lot more upfront, but if you know you're going to be formatting multiple books, then it probably makes sense eventually because you only have to buy it once. Personally, I format my own books using Microsoft Word for my paperbacks and hardcovers, and then I use Kindle Create to format my ebooks, which is so easy. If you can't tell, I'm kind of the DIY type and a recovering perfectionist. ISBNs. So if you're selling a physical book, then you are required to have an international standard book number for your book. Some retailers still require them for ebooks, but it just depends on where you go. Many indie authors, including myself, are more and more often choosing to use the free ones provided by self-publishing print-on-demand services such as KDP, Ingram Spark, and Draft to Digital. Keep in mind you can only use these when you are publishing through their platform. In the US, Bowker charges $125 for a single ISBN, or if you want to purchase a pack of 10, they are $30 a piece. Now they charge even less per piece if you buy a much larger pack, but of course that gets way more expensive as you go. And as far as barcodes go, KDP and Ingram Spark automatically put barcodes on your book. When it comes to printing costs, there are no upfront costs for print-on-demand services such as Kindle Direct Publishing, Ingram Spark, and Draft to Digital. Yay! So the majority of indie authors and independently published or self-published books do print-on-demand of some kind. But if you were to do something like a special edition of a book, then you would go to a printer and do a print run, which means you're just going to have them print a larger batch of books at once that you would pay for upfront. And of course, many authors will choose to do a Kickstarter or something like that before incurring the printing cost, so they actually know how many books to print. But with print on demand, you do not pay upfront for your books. The charge of the actual print cost is only taken out of the royalties after the purchase has been made. Before you click publish on your book, you'll want to make sure that everything is formatted correctly, so ordering proof copies is a must. With most print-on-demand companies, a proof copy will generally run between $10 and $20 depending on shipping and the size of the actual book. A book with more pages or thicker paper will cost more to print, thus it will cost more to get a proof copy. But when you order a proof copy, you're typically only paying for the cost of printing the book itself and then the shipping. Now, the number of proof copies that you actually need to order will generally depend on both your formatting skills and how picky you are. For my first book, The All-Stars, I ended up doing at least 10 different revisions of this book before I figured out how to actually format things properly. And one of those times I accidentally ordered 6 copies of the same test. Oops. So for that book, I had something like 15 proof copies when it should have been 10, but still, it was a lot. I learned a lot from formatting that book, and also it was a very skinny book, so the printing costs was pretty low. I looked through my order history to find exact numbers. So for the first edition of The Delinquent Crown, I did paperback only, and it looks like I ordered 5 proof copies, so I did 5 different revisions on that one. The next book was The Dormant Titan, which I did paperback and hardcover, and did a total of 5 proof copies. For The Delinquent Crown's second edition, I did both paperback and hardcover again, but I only needed 3 proof copies this time. And then for Legends of the Shadow Woods, I got it on the first try. I only did 1 proof copy, and I was really glad about that. Then my most recent book, Revenge of the Druid Queen, I did paperback only, but I ended up doing 2 different proof copies. If you're doing the formatting yourself and can be a little bit more careful than I was the first time, you can expect to need 3 to 5 proof copies of your book, depending on how many formats you're doing. So something like $30 to $100. As you can see, the cost of self-publishing a book can vary greatly depending on your preferences and what conveniences you want to pay for, if any. If you want to know how to publish a book for $0, absolutely free, then subscribe to this channel to get an update on my next video, which is going to cover that topic. If you like standalone epic fantasies with adventure, sarcasm, bounty hunters, and druids, you can check out Revenge of the Druid Queen, which is my most recently published book. All right, that's all I got for you, so thanks for watching. Bye!